There is something stirring in the heavens. There is a great move about to take place. Some of you listening today have been struggling, praying, and waiting, wondering when the promises will come to pass. You have been walking through trials, through fire, through storms that seem unrelenting. And you have asked, Lord, where are you? Have you forgotten me? Have you turned your face from me? But I have come to tell you today that when something big is about to happen in your life, there are signs, clear, unmistakable signs that God is at work, preparing, refining, shifting things into place. Some of you are on the very edge of your breakthrough, standing at the border of the promised land, but all you can see are the giants in front of you. You see the opposition. You see the closed doors, you see the delays, and you think that must mean God has abandoned the plan. But hear me today. When God is about to do something big, the battle will intensify. When God is about to pour out a blessing, the enemy will send every distraction, every temptation, every discouragement your way to make you doubt. But that is not the time to give up. That is not the time to retreat. That is the time to stand firm, to press in, to trust that the one who started the work in you is faithful to complete it. Do you remember Joseph? A young man with a dream, a vision given by God. He saw his future. He saw what God had in store. But what happened? He was betrayed, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. Everything in his life seemed to move in the opposite direction of the promise. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever stood in a moment where everything in your life seemed to contradict the word God gave you? But listen, Joseph did not give up. He remained faithful. And when the time was right, in one day, he went from the prison to the palace. That is the power of God. When he is about to bless you, when he is about to promote you, when he is about to elevate you, the enemy will do everything he can to make you quit. But I tell you today, hold on to his word, hold on to his promise, hold on to your faith. When something big is coming, then God will take you through a season of testing. The children of Israel walked through the wilderness before entering the promised land. David faced years of running from Saul before he sat on the throne. Jesus himself went through the wilderness, fasting for 40 days before stepping fully into his ministry. Testing is not punishment, it is preparation. It is in the waiting, in the refining, in the stretching that your character is built, that your faith is strengthened, that you are made ready for what God has in store. Have you ever wondered why God allows the trials, why he permits the waiting? My friends, God is more interested in shaping you than in simply delivering you. He is more concerned with molding your heart than with granting your requests. Because if he gave you the blessing before you were ready, it would destroy you instead of elevate you. He is a good father, and a good father does not give the keys to a car to a child who does not yet know how to drive. He does not place a crown on the head of one who has not yet learned how to serve. Before the blessing comes, there is always a season of preparation. And some of you are there now. You are in the waiting. You are in the stretching. You are in the pressing. And you feel weary. You feel forgotten. But I tell you today, God is watching. He is refining. He is preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. The delay is not a denial. The wait is not wasted time. The silence does not mean he has forgotten you. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating things you cannot yet see. Some of you are looking for the answer, but you do not see it yet. You are praying, but nothing seems to shift. But let me tell you, the cloud is forming. The breakthrough is near. You may not see it yet, but God is moving. When God is about to bless you, he will remove some people from your life. Some relationships will fall away. Some friendships will end. And you may not understand why, but God sees what you do not see. He knows the hearts of men. He knows who is for you and who is against you. He knows who will support you and who will betray you. And so he prunes, he cuts away, he separates so that when he blesses you, the wrong people are not there to corrupt the blessing. Do not fight the pruning. Do not try to hold on to what God is trying to remove. Trust that he knows what he's doing. When something big is coming, God will stretch your faith. He will ask you to believe beyond what makes sense. He will ask you to step out of the boat like Peter and walk on the water. He will ask you to build an ark like Noah, even when there is no sign of rain. He will ask you to lift up your staff like Moses and stretch it over the sea. Faith does not wait for everything to make sense. Faith does not wait for every detail to be clear. Faith obeys, faith trusts, faith moves forward even when the path is not yet visible. Some of you are waiting for God to show you the whole picture before you take the first step. But that is not how faith works. He will not give you the entire map. He will give you just enough light for the next step. And when you take that step, he will reveal the next. Step by step, faith by faith, he will lead you, but you must be willing to move. You must be willing to trust. And I tell you today, something big is coming. Some of you have been waiting for years. You have sown in tears. You have labored in faith. You have prayed without ceasing. And you have wondered if the promise would ever come to pass. But I tell you, the appointed time is near, and before it happens, you will see the signs. The battle will intensify, the testing will increase, the pruning will come, the stretching will be great, but do not be discouraged. Do not lose heart, because these are not signs of defeat. These are signs that the promise is at the door. And yet, in the midst of this expectation, there is also confusion. Because right now, your life may not look like something big is about to happen. In fact, everything around you may seem like it's falling apart. You've been walking through trials, through suffering, through disappointments. You've prayed prayers that seem to go unanswered. You've believed for miracles, but all you've seen are setbacks. You've asked God for open doors, but it seems like every door is closing. And in the quietness of your heart, you've wondered, Lord, where are you? Did I hear you correctly? Did I misunderstand the promise? Why does it seem like everything is going wrong just when I thought I was getting closer to my breakthrough? But hear me today, this is not a sign that God has abandoned you. This is a sign that He is working. Because before every great move of God, there is a season of testing. Before every elevation, there is a time of shaking. Before every blessing, there is a refining. The enemy knows what is coming, and he will try everything in his power to stop you before you reach it. Look at the pattern in Scripture. Every time God was about to do something incredible, the enemy fought fiercely to prevent it. Before the deliverance of Israel, Pharaoh increased the oppression. Before David took the throne, Saul tried to kill him. Before Jesus stepped into his public ministry, he was led into the wilderness to be tested. My friends, do you see it? The opposition, the hardship, the trials, they are not random. They are evidence that you are close to something greater. If you weren't a threat to the enemy's plans, he wouldn't bother with you. If you weren't carrying something powerful, he wouldn't attack you. But because you have a destiny, because there is a divine appointment over your life, because there is something great in your future, the battle has intensified. I want you to imagine for a moment a woman about to give birth. The months leading up to that moment have been full of preparation, full of expectation. But when the time comes, the pain increases, the labor intensifies, the contractions become unbearable. And just before the birth, there is a moment where it seems almost impossible to push through. That is when she must gather all her strength, because she is seconds away from seeing the promise come to life. That is where some of you are right now. You are in the final stretch before the breakthrough. You are in the last moments before the birth of the promise. And the pain has increased. The pressure is greater than ever. But don't give up now. Don't walk away now. You are too close to the fulfillment of what God has spoken over your life. The enemy would love nothing more than for you to throw in the towel. He would love nothing more than for you to quit, to let go, to turn your back just before the blessing arrives. But I tell you today, stand firm, press on. The opposition is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It is a sign that He is about to do something big. When Jesus was crucified, the enemy thought he had won. The disciples were scattered, the crowds were silent, and darkness covered the land. But what the enemy did not understand was that Sunday was coming. What looked like defeat was actually the greatest victory. What seemed like the end was only the beginning. And I want to tell you today, your story is not over. Your breakthrough is on the way. The shaking you feel, the battle you are facing, the storm that seems relentless, it is not there to destroy you. It is there to prepare you, because God is getting ready to release something big into your life. And when it comes, you will see that every tear, every trial, every moment of waiting was not wasted. Everything in your logical mind is telling you it's not going to happen. I must have heard God wrong. Maybe this isn't for me. But hear me today. When God is about to do something big in your life, when He is about to pour out His blessing, when He is about to fulfill His promise, you will always face opposition. The enemy will not sit idly by while you step into your destiny. He will send distractions, delays, discouragement, anything he can to make you turn back before you reach what God has for you. That is exactly what happened to the Israelites. They had been delivered from Egypt by the mighty hand of God. They had seen the Red Sea parted before their very eyes. They had been led by a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. They had seen miracle after miracle, provision after provision, and yet, when they stood on the border of their promised land, they were filled with fear. 12 spies went in to scout the land. And what did they see? They saw a land flowing with milk and honey. They saw the fruitfulness. They saw the abundance. But 10 of the spies could only focus on one thing, the giants. We are like grasshoppers in our own sight, they said. We cannot go up against them. They looked at the opposition, and instead of trusting the God who had already brought them so far, they allowed fear to paralyze them. And because of their fear, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Not because God had abandoned them, not because the promise wasn't real, but because they refused to step into it. How many of us today are standing at the edge of what God has promised, but we are too afraid to move forward? We see the giants, we see the battles, we see the opposition, and we shrink back. But listen to me. Whenever God is about to do something big in your life, the battle will intensify, not to destroy you, but to prepare you. You see, the giants weren't there to keep the Israelites out. The giants were there to prove that God was greater. The walls of Jericho weren't there to stop them. They were there to showcase the power of God to tear them down. The Red Sea wasn't an obstacle. It was an opportunity for God to demonstrate His might. And today some of you are looking at your situation, and all you can see are the giants. All you can see are the impossibilities. All you can see are the roadblocks. But I tell you, the very thing standing in your way is the thing God will use to show his power in your life. David saw a giant named Goliath, but instead of seeing an obstacle, he saw an opportunity. He didn't run away. He didn't cower in fear like the rest of Israel's army. He stepped forward, not with a sword, not with armor, not with military training, but with faith. You come against me with a sword and a spear, he said, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts. And with a single stone, he brought down the